QTV Youth Dialogue, and I am Jenna Bosonko. So today I'm so excited because we're not in the studio. I love it when we're not in the studio for some reason, probably because we've been in the studio for the past 4 to 5 years. So now we're trying by all means to explore different means of bringing you guys amazing content. So today we're completely out and we're taking a look at the Day of the Girl, which we have been celebrating on the show for the past 5 years. And today, deliberately, I just decided not to have makeup on, just so I look as young as possible. So after introducing my guests, I'll just, engage them on my age, just to see if, I'm in the same vibe with you guys, because I want to be in the same vibe. There's no way you guys are ahead of me. I'm not going to allow that. So to start with, Ramu Tambedu, thank you so much for joining us, Ramu. How do you feel to be on the program, on Youth Dialogue for the first time?
I feel good. I also feel a bit nervous.
Are you?
But I feel comfortable being with you.
Yeah.
Because you make it like fun.
Yeah. And I'm happy that you're comfortable being with me. Thank you so much. How nice. Also, we are joined by Ngone Sose. Thank you so much, Ngone, for being here.
My pleasure.
And how do you feel?
I feel very excited to be able to put my voice and my ideas out there today.
Amazing. So are we going to guess my age? I just want to find out if you guys are going to be nice to me.
Definitely teenager.
I love that. That's the kind of vibe that I like. I'm not getting any older, okay? Age is just a number. So today I just decided not to be on makeup. And whatever the case, I've also been there, and I understand some of the challenges that you guys, are dealing with still, and the ones that are coming up. But thank you so much. I'm excited that we're able to do this, and also recognizing our amazing audience. A round of applause for yourselves. So we will make sure as much as possible, we'll also engage you guys to just get your voice on International Day of the Girl, because we understand some of the challenges, but we also see here and there the girls taking ownership when it comes to initiatives. We'll also be taking a look at that. So to start with, Ramu, on International Day of the Girl, what are some of the things that you reflect on the most on this day?
Okay, I think that some of us should be grateful to have role models, wonderful women role models. Mm-hmm. I have a great role model, which is my mom.
Right.
I look up to her. I want to be like her. Mm-hmm. And I feel like some of us also have someone to look up to in life generally.
Okay, who's your mom?
Dr. Jojondur Tamberu.
Okay, so you have somebody to look up to.
Yes.
I look up to her too, so it's not just you. Okay, so it's a general one, mm-hmm. So moving on, what are some of the things that you reflect on the most, as a girl child on the Day of the Girl?
I think mostly girlhood. I feel it's worth celebrating way more than we do. And I love being a girl, honestly. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Okay. Why do you love being a girl?
Because it's slay.
It's slay! Yeah. Give me a high five. I love that. It's slay. And I love to slay too. Do you love to slay?
Yes.
Are you sure? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. I love that vibe. I love that vibe. So let's also talk about the government of the Gambia and some of the activities that they're doing. We saw how they decided to come with the ministry responsible for children, gender and social welfare. When it comes to the Gambia, how do you see the government and their interventions when it comes to the girl? Do you think some of the things that they're doing is significant enough to support the girl child and some of the problems that the girl child gets to go through, which we will get to very soon?
I feel like in the government, the girls don't have enough representation at the table. I feel like for people who swore an oath to protect the Gambia and generally everyone, mm-hmm. I feel like they let their cultural beliefs and their personal opinions also take a toll on how they decide what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. We need better representation as girls, because like 1 out of 10 members is a girl. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that if she says something, like they don't take into consideration what she has to say, mm-hmm. and they won't respect her as much as they would respect the man beside her.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like women and girls should be given a seat on the table?
Exactly.
Because, for example, if you take a look at the parliament in the Gambia, we have very, very few women, mm-hmm. and 2 of them nominated as well. How did you feel when you realized that the Gambia's parliament, where laws that is supposed to protect you and the girl on the street is made, has very limited women? What do you think about that?
I don't agree with that
mm-hmm.
at all. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Like someone needs to hold the government accountable for the things they do. Someone needs to, like people as a group, need to understand the government better.
Okay.
And the government also needs to understand the society better.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like they don't really connect with the society when making decisions. They usually just decide on what they feel is better and what they think they would prefer.
So you feel like you said, you need more women. But then do you also agree with me that sometimes when it comes to these things, it's even beyond the government? It's about mindsets. That is why obviously you all are here, just so that we ensure you have the right mindsets. And when you grow and you take on leadership roles, the narratives will change. Do you also agree that, you know, beside the government, the people are not also aware, or sometimes they refuse to take some of these ideas? Do you agree with that? And what do you think about that?
I do, and I do think we need to make a change now, because once we are educated, our children will be educated.
Right.
They'll educate their children, and then it'll go on like that. Some women decide not to educate their children because they haven't been taught those. They could say, okay, I agree with this man. I agree with this because he's a man. He knows better.
Yeah.
But it's not at all like that. So I feel like we need to educate ourselves so we could educate the future generations.
All right,
to
a
come.
round of applause for her. Amazing. So moving on, you know, Ngone, what are your thoughts as well when it comes to the government of the Gambia's interventions in areas? Because obviously they're the primary duty bearer, and they have the responsibility to ensure that someone like me, someone like you is safe. You know, how do you see their interventions?
I think they're doing the bare minimum.
Okay.
I think when mostly Gambians, when they see something happening, they think it's a big deal, but it's not. I think the government shouldn't get content or complacent at all. Just because you implement something, it has to make a difference. We have to see those differences first before we feel some type of way about their interventions.
Yeah, and when we talk about seeing those differences, it has to also do with laws that are put in place.
Definitely.
That when they're not implemented, it becomes a problem. You know, we see the recent debate when it comes to female genital mutilation. Child marriage, even though it's in our laws, we still see also a debate surrounding it.
Definitely.
Even rape, we see a debate surrounding rape. You know, people failing to accept that when a child is not 18 and you have something with the child, whatever the case might be, you know, sex, harassment, or at any degree is rape. It's harassment, you know, that is not accepted by a lot of people. So when it comes to female genital mutilation, when you were aware that at the level of the parliament, some of the parliamentarians wanted the law to be repealed, on that day, knowing about that as a girl child, how did you feel about that?
I felt disgusted. It's very weird that people with such power and ability to do change decide to go down that route, which is clearly surrounded by ignorance, and I think they're uneducated.
They're
about
uneducated.
The horrors of FGM, yes.
Okay. According to her, they're uneducated about, you know, the course of FGM. Maybe they are educated, but cultural values
Definitely.
to them, which are values to them, because what might be cultural value to you might be different cultural value to me. But whatever the case, a thumbs up to organizations who are doing amazing to ensure that their mindsets change. And when that happened, we also saw that some of them were gathered together a few times here and there to further educate them, you know. But
Definitely.
hopefully we will see the change that we seek. FGM, when you were aware that, you know, the parliamentarians were trying to repeal the law, how did you feel about that?
I was really disappointed, and I feel like lots of women, lots of girls in the rural areas actually go through that, and they don't have a say. Their mother will just pick them up, take them, without letting them decide whether or not they want to undergo FGM. It could sometimes kill, and I'm disappointed that the people at the government, the people that are supposed to make here a better place, are supporting that.
Yeah. But on the other hand, we will also recognize organizations like the National Human Rights Commission, which is the body responsible to protect our rights, you know, send out a press release to say that they do not agree with it. So at least we still have that sense of protection, considering that we have an authority such as the National Human Rights Commission to stand on our behalf. So moving on, let's talk about reproductive health, you know, our sexuality, you know, seeing our periods and all of that. Because on the Day of the Girl, like you said, we have to recognize, you know, us as women and some of the things that we go through. Let's talk about menstrual hygiene, for example. I always talk about when I first saw my period. I saw my period really early when I was in grade 6. So that was like extremely early. So none of my friends saw their periods at that time. So it was so hard for me, and I couldn't also have a conversation with anybody. But I would feel like you guys had a different experience, because judging by who your mom is, for example, you can have a conversation with her on those things. I'm sure too, you know, judging by the interactions that we had. So how did you deal with that? Like being a girl, growing up, having a breast, you know, all of the body parts shaping up gradually, you know, how did you deal with that experience, Ngone?
I don't think I belong in an environment where there's stigma around that. I feel it's a very safe space and environment, and there's people, mothers, sisters to talk to and learn from.
Yeah. So what do you think about the girl out there who does not have that opportunity that you have, to the mom to talk to, for example, money to buy, you know, pads and just look good and healthy while they're on it?
I feel like reach out. Most of us live in communities. If it may not be your mom, but it can be a friend, a neighbor, I feel like somewhere, anywhere, there's always someone who will help.
Okay. But generally, what do you think about the problem? What negative impact do you think it has on the girl?
It definitely has a lot of negative impact. I think there's menstrual health, menstrual hygiene is very stigmatized in our community. It's seen as something you should hide, but I don't agree at all. So I feel like, yeah.
So how was the experience, you know, when you started to grow and notice yourself that things are changing? Like, I'm becoming that girl.
It was very 50-50.
Yeah.
I feel like as time went on, I got to embrace it and be myself, let myself be myself.
Okay.
So I feel like it was goods and bads. But
Okay, but what were some of the problems? Did you go through any challenges?
mostly no. Like I
Okay.
said, I belong in an environment where it's very open. I
Yeah.
can speak my mind. I can talk to my parents and my
Yeah.
sisters. So
Yeah, lucky you, because, you know, research has shown that, you know, adolescent girls most of the time do not have the chance to have conversations with their parents. You know, you can be part of those children who are privileged, but then there are a lot of children out there who are going through challenges, having conversations with their parents about sex, you know, how to make a baby even. You know, you ask a young girl and they do not even know, you know, how to make a baby. Where does the baby even come from? You know, they're still debating as to where it actually comes from, which, you know, everybody should be aware of, especially girls. But generally, how did you deal with it, you know, turning into this?
I feel like society made it feel like it's a huge thing, made it feel like it's something to be embarrassed about. But I feel like once you have that person to talk to,
Yeah.
or like someone you feel comfortable with to tell, like, you know, to help you, then you're fine, you're okay.
So what impact do you think it has on the girl out there who does not have those opportunities?
I think it has a huge impact actually, because they don't know much about their body. They could not have enough resources to help.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has a huge impact.
Yeah, so that is why we've been engaging a lot the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. You know, they tried to convince me that they're doing enough when it comes to having the right materials for the children in public schools, but I'm not sure about that, because whenever I engage girls going to public schools, they tell me the opposite. So, but we are pushing a lot at our level as the media, so hopefully the changes will come gradually, just so they have, you know, access to all of these things. So moving on, let's talk about social media, okay? We are at a time, actually when I was like really, really younger, then we didn't have phones like this. But obviously I'm still young, okay? I made that clear since the beginning. I'm part of your generation. So I'm able to also use smartphone and use all these social media platforms that are available. But on the other hand, you know, at your age, it actually exposes you a lot. So Ngone, how are you dealing with social media at your age, you know? How do you deal with it? How do you protect your mental health as a girl child, as to maybe turning off notifications to say, this is what I want to see, I don't want to see this, and also the peer pressure that comes from, you know, social media, probably seeing a friend of yours, you know, wearing something that you can't have access to. So how do you handle social media as a girl child?
I keep my social media circle very small. I only engage with people I feel like I can get something good from. I feel we should be aware that social media is a facade. Like, people are very in control of what they post and what they put out there, so you're not aware of everything going on underneath. So I remind myself of that a lot, and mostly I just interact with people I mostly know in real life, and not big on influencers and celebrities.
So you don't. Why don't you follow influencers? Because they're positive influencers.
Yeah, there are. So I do follow people I mostly get good from, or I feel like I can learn something and help myself, rather than
the other way
debatable
around. So do you
influencers,
turn off? You know, do you unfollow? Like, how do you do it? How do you control your social media space?
I mostly don't keep my notifications on.
Okay.
I feel like I only go there when I want, or I feel like, or I want to, not because something's calling me there. And yeah, I think that's most of it.
So there's no peer pressure or anything?
There can be peer pressure. I feel
They
like
can
it's
be,
very,
right?
Yeah.
And it can be really tempting.
Yeah, it can be very tempting with the whole post, the
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
But I remind myself, I ground
Of
myself.
who you are. And I think I also do the same thing, because sometimes, you know, we're all super ambitious.
We are.
And then there are things that we want to have that maybe some of our friends have, you know, maybe have done so many applications, and you see someone else do it. So the only thing you can do is to applaud the individual.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
those are some of the positives. It can be tempting in a negative way, but it can also push you. I totally agree with that. Yes, so Ramu, how do you control your social media space? You know, with peer pressure, we know how girls do it with social media now, with the Snapchat and all of that, with the filters and what, it comes with a lot, right?
Especially because I follow a lot of influencers.
Right.
And especially being in high school, you like it's way more peer pressure than it would be when
I
you're out of high
know,
school.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's okay to sit down and take a break from social media.
Yeah.
Leave your phone. Go a whole day without your phone. You could read a book. I like to read. I like to paint. So I think I think sometimes it's okay to take a break sometimes, and like what Mona said, ground yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many of you normally take a break from social media? Raise your hand if are you sure? Like, take a break, like just a whole day to say, okay, a whole day I'm not going to be on social media for 2 days. Okay, how many of you believe that a whole day is too much to stay away from social media? Okay, all right, whatever. I'll just allow that to pass. But we will talk about careers now, you know, being a girl and dealing with the decision as to who do I want to become. You know, sometimes it can be really confusing as an individual, you know, and then when you go to public schools, for example, there are no counselors, career counselors to help them decide on what they want to become. The subjects sometimes can be so confusing. They do not have a direction, you know, and also just being a girl, sometimes you can just want something and it's not meant for you, or you're confused about it. So how are you dealing with that, the issue of, you know, your goals, your future goals, and where you want to see yourself?
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor, inshallah.
Okay, why?
Because I have a heart issue,
Okay.
and it's very hard to find doctors that deal with this issue, especially in Gambia. So I want to help people in the future with the same heart issue that are not privileged enough to go to
Overseas
overseas
treatment, yeah.
exactly. So, but I also feel like if you tell a man, I want to be a doctor, they'll be like, oh, okay, you want to be a nurse? No, I want to be a doctor.
Okay, so FYI, you want to be a doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to be the head doctor. I want to be the boss.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. That's acceptable. That's fine. How about you, Ngone?
I'm not very sure on what I want to do right now.
Why is
but
that?
I can do anything. I
Okay.
don't necessarily assign gender to a career.
Okay.
I could be a mechanic. I could be a shoe doctor. I
Okay.
can do whatever I want. So right now, I do take my time because I don't feel like there's one road
Okay.
on who you become. I feel like it's a maze. There's many roads. You can go down whatever path you want, woman or not.
Yeah.
You can really do anything.
So don't you think it's now time to, like, decide? Or you
I
think
have
it's
time.
You have time?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, but you don't even have something you like
Oh,
to
right
say,
now,
I'm pointing
I'm
at this.
Very interested in technology,
Okay.
mostly physics. I feel like physics is also very assigned to the male, especially engineering. You go to engineering class, everyone's a man. But I feel like, yeah, you don't assign gender to a career.
Okay.
I can't be an engineer. I can't be.
So you're yet to decide what you
Yes,
want to
definitely.
become. Okay, for me, I always knew what I wanted to become. For some reason, I was just all over the place with things. So I could just tell that I belong in the arts. You know, that's what I could do. But you can also see that growing up, I had a lot of challenges with deciding because, you know, most of my family members who went into the arts field did not end up there. So, you know, my grandmother had the feeling that if I also go that path, it was not going to work for me. So I even studied commerce and later had to change to become a journalist. So it can be really difficult for a girl most of the time to decide as to the path that they want to take. But I guess it's changing now with, you know, online counseling classes that you can take and all of that. Times are changing. So moving on, we're just going to engage our audience now. We're just going to take a break and then we're going to engage them. And they're going to also share their thoughts with us about, you know, growing up, you know, special focus on, you know, from growing up as to, you know, your physical well-being. How did you deal with that? Because it's the day of the girl. And at the time that you are right now, you know, the house is here to be, you know, check yourself, have some lip gloss. Like, that's where you are. And it's important that we have these conversations as you grow as a girl. I can remember going to school around your age. The man make sure the smart the man you need. That's for some reason. It comes with, you guys know what I'm saying, right? You know, you guys are dressing all nice. Why? You know, how did it reach there and all of that? You know, the fact that you have to go buy, now you know you have to go buy a bra. Previously you shouldn't. So it comes with its, you know, whole psychological steps that you need to go through to fully accept that you're now growing. So we can focus on that, career, or whatever thing that you feel you need to put across. So we can just have the hands up and we will know where to start from. So we're just gonna go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get to engage our audience, and then, you know, they will get to also share different things with us. So we'll be right back, don't go anywhere.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Suru. Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network jumala geta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam pona manke QCell. Hanibe wulo ni farole kono walante be bakono jala fayola network o se taria QCell suñu boss. Ñofi njeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus, and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasun tawa buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meda lori la kilianol yele imanyina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunny boss. QCell sunny boss. QCell sunny boss. QCell sunny boss. One next solo be bambandi QCell sunny boss. QCell most innovative QCell sunny boss.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV Youth Dialogue, and I'm Jennifer Sonko. So if you're just tuning in, I'm here with Ramu Tambedu as well as Ngone Sose, and we're talking about the International Day of the Girl. But now we're just focusing on our audience because we have all the brilliant young girls that are here with us who have brilliant ideas they want to share with us in commemoration of the day. So Aisatu, we're starting with you, and thank you so much for willing to share your ideas with us. So go ahead.
Okay, good morning everyone. Also I say good evening, wonderful listeners. I'm Aisatu Conte. Well, it's indeed a great pleasure being part of this association. As young girls of today's generation, there are a lot of effective impacts in our life that we as young people really need to work on too. Most importantly, the Day of the Girl Child, it is quite important that for we as young people come together, join hands, and then support one another, because we are the root of the level. Like girls are power. Girls are the heroes of today's generation. So when we do something great in our life, we can actually make a greater impact.
All right. Thank you so much, Aissatou. So you can pass, no, you can just pass it on there. So thank you so much, Aissatou, for that, brilliant intervention. Girls are indeed the heroes, and if you guys, do it well and the right way, the narratives will certainly change. So Habibatu, what do you have to share with us?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Habibatu Jallo, and I'm very happy to be here today, and it's really a great pleasure to be here. Okay, as a goal of today's generation, there are a lot of things that I would like to talk about, but I'm just going to talk about a few things. And since today is the day of the goal, it's a day that we as girls reflect on a lot of things as girls. So growing up in today's society, we go through a lot of things that I feel like, especially when it comes to socialization. I grew up in a very conservative society, where I do not get to socialize a lot. I only started socializing socializing that much when I actually joined the Women Boss. It's the time that I have the courage to speak and actually socialize and have friends. So, and also when it also comes to mental health, I feel like there's also a thing that especially in the Gambia here, that many people do not talk about. It's also a very important thing, and I think as girls we need to do something about that, and try to talk about those things with our friends, with our close relatives, and also a lot of things that I also feel like we should really talk about, especially when you were talking about the menstruation thing. Management. Exactly. That's also a very important thing as girls that we need to learn about, especially because growing up I also went through a lot of hardship, especially when it comes to that. It came to a certain moment that I wanted to really talk about that thing and get to understand it, but then I did not have somebody to talk to, and it was really a hard thing, especially.
So how did you deal with that? The fact that you didn't have someone to talk to when it comes to menstrual hygiene and the whole reproductive health issue. How did you deal with it?
It was really hard. At first, I just kept everything a secret. There was a time that I went through I was going through something. I went through some problem about my menstruation,
right.
But then I did not have anybody to talk to.
But then you were forced to say something.
Yeah, it comes to a certain point that I was if I do not talk about this, then it's going to be
solved.
Yeah, it's not going to be solved. So I was I really have to talk about this. That was when I went to one of my friends and talked to them. But still, it was not helpful. But I think it was kind of a little better, because through all those things, the things that I went through at that time, it really taught me a lot of things that today I can reflect on. And I feel if I also grow up, I would also want to talk about those things to my my children. Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, that is nice. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. I love that. Thank you. All right, from that intervention by Habibatu, thank you so much for sharing. Another round of applause for her. Thank you so much for sharing, your story, because most of the time when it comes to menstrual hygiene and everything, it's really a big challenge to talk about it, and then I see young girls now coming up to talk about their challenge. And do not think you're alone. You're not alone. I saw my period really, really early. Imagine in grade 6. When did you see your period? At what grade?
I was actually going to grade 9, but since I started going to school at a
Yeah, so she was going to grade 9 when she saw it. I saw it in grade 6. That was really early. So I had to deal with it. So you're not alone. And I'm sure if we gave everyone the opportunity to say when they saw their period and then the challenges they went through, we will hear even worse stories. We all have our stories. But the most beautiful thing is that you're able to share it, and that now you know when you grow and have your own kids, they're not going to go through the same things. It's not the beautiful part. That's like that's the beautiful aspect of it all. I love that. Thank you so much. So up next.
So I'm Marie Yvette Gomez, and I feel like cyberbullying is having its effect on girls our age. And I just want to say that don't believe everything you see on the media because there's a picture and a code next to it. Just try to be yourself, and don't believe that what the world has to say or people around you, it's going to define you. Just know that be yourself and you'll make a change, and there will be a change.
All right. Be yourself. You know, if you want to have short hair, I have short hair sometimes, okay? Sometimes I have short hair. Sometimes I just do things according to what I feel. I wear things according to how I feel. You know, it's not about what the person thinks. And I'm so happy that at your age, you are aware that it's not what the person has to say, but what you want. So moving on. Ami Baji is also about to share her experience or just anything on the Day of the Girl. What is it? Tell us.
Hello everyone, my name is Ami. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I want to share some few words of inspiration to my fellow girls. So we as girls, we hold the power to create life. So we also can create like any life we desire for. So as girls, our voice should be heard and our rights should be recognized. Now is our time to talk about our challenges and things that are affecting us, and to participate in leadership because we can be anything. So let's keep our head up.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. You know, why do you think governments should invest more when it comes to supporting the girl child? You know, putting in more resources, putting in deliberate policies, for example, to make sure that girls, you know, are comfortable and they are who they want to be. Why do you think that is important?
Okay, because I feel like gender equality, like we all equal, like no one is above any other person, so we all equal and we can be anything we want. So yeah.
And then we should also use this opportunity to you know, give a round of applause to the grade 9 exams. We saw that the girls outperformed the boys. That is good, that is good. So thumbs up to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, because, you know, the issue of gender parity and all of that, they're really putting it into consideration, and we see that it's actually moving forward. So congratulations to all the girls that actually did well. So moving on, what's the nice name?
How are you all? I hope you're all okay.
We're good, we're great.
All right. So what I just want to say is, like, we have to clap for ourselves and then heal ourselves and then promote ourselves because it's our day. I understand it. So what I'm just trying to say is, like, today is a day where we are celebrated. I understand it. And this celebration shouldn't only stop here celebrating together. It should go a whole way out there. I understand it.
True.
I want to say something. We are the Gambia. If I say we are the Gambia, we are females and we are the Gambia. Those presidents, those ministers that you see there, we put them there. I understand it.
Okay, so, I like that.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
And then it's so sad that we, the people that put them there, are facing so much challenges. As you just said here, like, Parliament is trying to implement another thing to promote FGM and all those stuffs. When you see the statistics of the government, male are dominating. Okay, I am not a feminist though. Okay, but what we are trying to say is, like, we love our men, we respect them, but what we need is a little bit of considerations. I understand.
Yeah.
So, like, when you evaluate the government, and let's not only depend on the government, even like, let's say, companies or workplaces, it's like males dominate the females, and that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
When you come to academic standards, during the WAEC exams, during the Gabesa exams, we dominate. So why are we not given the chance to be there? It's like we are being denounced. It's like we are being looked down upon. And that's not fair. I understand. They look at us as if we are fragile. My friend, we are not fragile. They look at us as if we are weak. We are not weak. I understand. Just want to take an example of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the most outstanding president in Africa. She's part of the top 5. Take an example of Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel. All those people are females. We have in our own Gambia, we have many, many capable females here. Yakumba
Including
Jaite,
yourself.
including myself, of course.
Yeah.
Including all of them. So it's not fair. I understand it. So
Yeah.
like I think the government should give a very sensitive eye towards that. Okay, fine. We are getting protections from them. Yeah, they are giving us the due, especially when it comes to education and all that stuff. We can say a job well done to that. But okay, if you are investing on somebody to be educated, and at the end, when the person should climb that ladder, you are taking the person down. What is the essence of you educating the person? It's not done. I understand. So I'm just calling them out there. Let them consider us. Let them know that we can do what they are doing.
All right.
I understand.
Thank you.
So about the period thing that you just mentioned,
Quickly.
I want to just say that we are suffering from period poverty.
Okay.
We the girl are suffering from period poverty.
Yeah.
When I mean period poverty, you see somebody out there in a school sees her period unexpectedly, even a single part the person cannot get. And it's not fair.
It's not fair.
The person will get up and they will be bullying the person.
Yeah.
It's not done. The government should try and provide those things for us. We are students and we know that we are broke.
Thank you. Thanks. You know what? You know the part that I love the most is the part where she's like, "Do you understand that?" I like that. You have to understand that. If you don't get it,
of course, yes.
What you have to go back to it. You have to get it. Yeah.
Let us all say it together. Do you understand?
Do you understand that? So moving on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. That was brilliant. That was good. The fact that, we have to allow young girls to take up leadership. And hey, you've already taken up leadership by, adding your voice to conversations as such. So I'm looking forward to, where you will get in the future. I'm really... I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to where you head to. I'm looking forward to it. So moving on, what is your name and what do you have to say?
My name is Ava Maria Lowe, and I am 15 years old, and I'm also the ambassador for Marina International High School. And it is such an honor to be here today to be talking about females and female leadership. But, there's a lot of things that also come with it that are, some like cultural taboos and all of these stuff that we cannot be talking about. But it's really sad that we can't be talking about it, because why are we living as females but we have to keep our voices shut? We should not be keeping our voices shut at all. And you have all of these months where you celebrate, Men's Mental Health Month. You're praising all of these men who are doing professional sports, but then female sports don't get enough attention. Females don't, they don't get paid as much as a male does. Whenever we are working, we can work just as hard as a man. Why don't we get paid as much? Sometimes even if you compare a female judge to a male judge, maybe the male judge is going to get paid more because he gets more recognition just because of his gender. And as we can see based off of research, over 90% of gender-based violent cases, those are female cases. Whenever you're walking outside, it's normally a female that is getting catcalled. And I'm not saying that there aren't any males that can be out there getting sexually harassed or anything like that, but we can agree that there's more. Yeah, it's more minimum than whenever it comes to the females, to the males, than it is to the females. And it's very sad, isn't it? And, we want to be viewed as humans just as much as a male is, because ever since we have been created, it was always, when has there ever been a man getting pregnant or having a period or anything like that? And if you're a man getting a period, come on, you're not a man.
Yeah. Obviously.
Right. You're not a man.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you have to realize that, we suffer, we do, we've been carrying our kids.
Multitasking.
Yes, we've been multitasking. We've been trying to do everything in our power to be responsible, responsible young ladies, but we don't get any recognition for it just because of our gender. And that doesn't make any sense, because you can have males coming out there saying misogynistic comments and everything like that, but once we want to empower ourselves, that's whenever it becomes a problem.
Yeah, so how are you dealing with, the girly life, the whole hairdo, getting your jeans ready, How do you deal with all of that? Because we've been there, okay?
Right. I could say all the time that, I'm not a girly girl. But I love,
being
tying my hair up. I like to tie my hair up. I forgot my earrings this morning, but if I hadn't,
you will have your earrings on.
I would have my earrings on. Maybe even have the big old hoops that go ding 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 when I'm walking. I love putting on headbands. I love wearing, dresses.
You love being a girl.
Yes, I do love being a girl, genuinely, but it also comes, everything comes with pros and cons.
Yeah.
And there's definitely cons to being a girl, especially with, menstruation, menstrual hygiene, FGM, and all of that. But I was also grown up and I was raised, in the United States of America, as you can probably tell from my accent.
Yeah.
So I grew up inside of the United States where things were a little bit, they were a little bit better, than Gambia. I wouldn't want to say better, but
obviously it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and that's where I grew up, and it was, there's a lot of things that have been normalized, inside of America than there has been in Gambia.
Yeah. Different cultures.
There's, because there's different cultures everywhere. FGM isn't really practiced there, obviously, because it would be considered as abuse. But here in Gambia, I wouldn't want to call it like a third world country or anything like that, but
it is.
It's
say
exactly.
it as it is.
We gotta be brutally honest here, don't we? So I also do want to point out the fact that, bringing back the fact that, women do get paid less than men, and I don't want to say that we do suffer more or less than men, because we also suffer all in our equal ways. But then if we want to bring out our feelings as to, oh my gosh, my period cramps hurt.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
So moving on.
And I do just want to say that, considering the fact that females, they do go through a lot of pain and everything like that, and, having them not be paid and everything like that, you see how this girl, she said that she wants to be a judge inside of the future.
Yeah.
100%. I do support that, and I can talk. I can definitely talk all I want to.
Yeah. So I guess that is all we have time for.
Yeah.
But thank you. A round of applause for who else? Front row. Yeah, there. That was good. Thank you. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Salim Manga. I'm 14 years old and I come from the same hood as her.
Okay. So what do you want to put across today?
So today is like the International Day of the Girl, so we should be celebrating ourselves. But some girls around the country, they cannot do that because they think, oh, am I too skinny? Am I too fat? Do I look ugly in other people's eyes and stuff? And I believe that us girls around the world should be comforting each other, saying you are beautiful the way you are. And men don't think it's normal to see a girl in sweatpants and an oversized shirt and say, what is that? Is that a girl? Because I only see girls hard, beautiful people with a good body and makeup on their faces. But some girls, they don't do that, but they have to so that they can get the attention that they want, but they don't need. So to me, if you are trying so hard to make guys look at you, that is not confidence to me. That is just wanting to have more attention on yourself. And I hate that. And when girls say, I'm not a girly girl, I'm one of the boys.
No, you're still a girly girl.
Yeah, you're still a girl. You have boobs. You can see your period.
Yeah.
I mean, you're no different from any other girl, just that you want to be a guy, but then you're a girl.
Yeah.
So you're just saying, I don't want to be a girl, but then you are a girl, so just accept it.
Yeah, because of bullying most of the time, people calling people tomboys and stuff. But I'm afraid that is all we have time for coming from the audience. So a round of applause for yourself.
Thank you.
So we're just going to take a quick break and we're going to just have a quick roundup with my, panelists here. So we'll just go for a quick break and when we come back, we'll just get to wrap it up.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you The eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV Youth Dialogue, and today is International Day of the Girl, and I'm here with Ramu Tambedo as well as Ngone Sose. So I'm afraid we have about 5 minutes. I'm so sad we have 5 minutes. I wish we just had another 30 minutes to add on to this, but it's unfortunate. So Ramu, you know, we're talking about girls leading and taking up spaces. For example, now we see how much young people, not just girls, taking ownership when it comes to climate change related matters, you know, advocating, doing a lot of things. So, you know, when you grow up a little bit, or even at this stage, you know, as a girl, you know, listening from your conversations, you are administrators. You guys can make things happen already at this age. You know, what are some of the leadership roles that you would want to take up, or specific issues that you would want to take up and take leadership roles to be able to change them?
Okay, so I feel like, especially the age I'm at, people see me as like a child. She cannot take any leadership roles. And I want to say thank you to the Women Boss, because I'm a school ambassador of the Women Boss. I'm glad that they're giving me leadership roles. I feel like I can actually make a change now, and I feel like my voice can be heard in the society. Because like I said before, I don't think I've said it, but we live in a patriarchal society where a strong and independent woman is seen as a problem, is seen as a disturbance, is seen like she needs to be shut down before anyone gets hurt. I don't think we should be like that. I don't think our children in the future, or us girls now, should be afraid to walk by ourselves. We shouldn't be afraid to wear something because men will get distracted. So, yes.
All right, but already I see that leadership role where you talked about the fact that you want to become a doctor. Main reason is because you want to change lives, you want to impact lives. And a career, really, to me, is not a career unless you're able to solve community solutions. So I think you're already taking on that leadership role. You know, Ngone, how about you?
I also would give thanks to Women Boss and many other organizations. I think as people, we should, to implement that change, we should engage with companies like the Women Boss and many others, and listen to people's stories and amplify their voices, make sure their rights are being upheld. And just as people, as a community, I think if we come together rather than separate fractions, we're able to do more change.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We see a lot of duplication of efforts, you know. Sometimes you just want to get in somewhere and with the knowledge that you have and create impact than repeating the same thing. I think that is true. But what area do you want to specifically focus on to take on this leadership role that we are talking about?
I think definitely there's something being done, but we can do more with gender equality. I mostly stand for gender equity. I feel like most of the time when you stand for gender inequality, when you stand against gender inequality, people are like, oh, go to war then. And I think equity would solve that problem more, because yes, women don't have some capabilities, but neither do men. But that doesn't mean you should shut them off or label them as incapable of
So just quickly, I'm not even sure if you have time for this, but persons with disability, I just want us to get into that quickly. You know, young girls with disability, you know, they face a lot of problems as well going to school. You know, what are your thoughts on that in a minute?
I think with the Women Boss, we've gotten to engage with a few girls from the deaf school, and they have told us about their problems and the things they face, and I do sympathize with that. I feel like as a community we should have a more open mind and be empathetic and considerate of other people's struggles. Just because we don't go through it doesn't mean it's not happening, and it is, and we should help people with it.
How about you? What do you think about, you know, young girls just like you who, you know, suffer disability? It's really challenging. I do interact with them. You know, just the last time when I had my event commemorating World Press Freedom Day, we were actually trying to look for a way that deaf individuals can be journalists. We couldn't figure it out. I invited veteran journalists, they came, we couldn't figure it out because it's really challenging. You know, the level of technology that you need is not here yet. So, you know, normally when you think about that, what are your thoughts?
I feel remorse
Yeah.
for them. I feel like we don't have enough resources. So once they finish high school, and example, they want to be a journalist, but they can't speak.
Yeah.
We don't have enough resources for them to be a journalist.
Yeah.
They don't have enough recognition. Like the government would not put them as a priority.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really sad to see that most of them can only stop at high school and cannot get a career in the future.
But thumbs up to Binta Baji, who is the first female deaf person to actually go to university. And you know, we're happy about that. At least she's an example of someone that we can all point at. So in 3 words, it's International Day of the Girl. Finally, what do you have to say to young girls out there watching? In one sentence.
That we are change.
All right.
Our voices can be heard.
All right. It was so great being with you guys here. And you know what? I love your skin tones. What do you use normally? I love your skin tone. I love it. I know we all deal with stuff, you know, when we see our period, dealing with pimples and stuff. But I like your skin tones. Looks maintained. Do you have a skincare routine?
Water.
Water and soap. How about you?
Water must be nice, but yeah, I do have a skincare.
You have a routine because you have sensitive skin,
yes,
probably.
Very.
I have sensitive skin too. I have a routine, you know, and recently I'm trying to embrace my natural skin, and I think as girls it's important that we embrace our natural skin. Previously, when you asked me to go on TV without makeup, it's not going to happen. But now I'm here without makeup and all young. So that is all we have time for. Happy International Day of the Girl to all the girls out there. You guys are beautiful. You guys are bold. You know, you're doing it big. So just keep on doing what you're doing. Special thanks goes to UNICEF. I mean, Ablaisi, I have to mention, I've been literally traumatizing this guy since we met and since he's been working for UNICEF, and he's been really supportive to ensure that anything that has to do with children, he's on top of issues and looking for ways that the media is involved, because without the media, then this information will not go for a child down there in Basse. And also, you know, the Woman Boss, thank you so much for the work that you guys do. It is amazing. And, you know, QTVU Dialogue, give us a round of applause. We've been doing this. You know, we've been trying. And also the camera crew, everybody on the camera crew, the editors, thank you so much. Sehu Musa, Bach, thank you so much. Aduboy, everybody, the entire production team. So that is all we have time for till we come your way next week, inshallah. And next year, bye for now. Bye.